Today we're actually going to go in and extract some honey. So to do that, first we have to go through the hives and find frames that are ready. And I'll tell you, I think it's one of the most beautiful things, finding a frame that's ready. They're capped with wax and it looks like a fresh fallen snow on a frame. I'll pull one out in a minute and we'll have a look at it. The queen is down here in this lower box laying her eggs. This is where the nest is, and all the rest of this is being filled with nectar and honey. The bees, when they come back from their foraging runs, they drop the nectar off in the entrance of the hive, and the receiver bees carry it up into the hive and they deposit it into these cells, where all these bees that you see here, they're fanning their wings and they're evaporating the water off of it to drive the moisture content down to below 18%. And this frame's not ready yet. There's lots of nectar in here. When it's ready, the bees tell us. They tell us by capping it off again with that white capping wax. Underneath here, this is all honey and that's ready to be extracted. So that's a good candidate. There's probably at least 30, 35 pounds of honey inside this box. You can see from looking at the underside, all the, all the honey that's inside there in these frames. Almost completely capped off. Beautiful frame. That one's a good one. Oh, so you can see this one. That's the honey. You can see that when I pulled the frame out, it actually opened up that wax capping. Well, I would call this Illinois wildflower honey. I don't know that there's a specific tree that I could attribute it to, or plant. In this case, there's so many different varieties of plants and flowering trees here at Mistwood that the bees have a lot to choose from. We're going to take them back into the shop and take the wax off of them and spin them in the extractor and get some fresh honey from these babies. We just came in from the apiary, and we went through a number of hives and removed some frames, and these frames are full of honey. Underneath this white wax capping is the product of tens of thousands of bees and all the work they did from early spring up until 4th of July to gather nectar and evaporate the moisture out of it and cure it into honey. So now to get access to the honey, what we need to do is cut this layer of wax off. And we do that with just a simple bread knife and slice it along the edge here. And we don't want any of this honey to go to waste, so it flows into this uncapping tank. And we save that, we collect that, so we can use that honey also. Ultimately, we return that to the bees and to the beehive, and we do that. We melt down the wax, and then we will paint the frames with the wax, and the bees will turn it into this honeycomb matrix that you see. So we give that wax back to them. Nice touch on the end there, Chef. I like it. It takes 8 pounds of nectar to make 1 pound of wax. Now that 8 pounds of nectar could otherwise be 8 pounds of honey. So if I can give them back all that wax, or as much as we can, we're going to have more productive bees. Later on in the summer, when we extract more honey, it'll be a different color and have an entirely different flavor. It's the remarkable thing about bees and honey is how it's a reflection of what's going on in the environment at that time that they're out foraging. Make sure we scrape all that off, all the wax. And then we can load this into our extractor, which uses centrifugal force, spins around and uses centrifugal force to force the honey out to the edges of the stainless steel tank. This is a Maxent stainless steel honey extracting tank, and it'll hold six of these frames at one time. And it's manual, so we're going to use, it's powered by Armstrong, so to speak. Now comes what I think is the coolest part of the entire beekeeping season. There's one moment that is kind of the, I don't know, it's the culmination of all that we do. It's a simple act of opening the gate valve and watching that honey flow out. Run it through our stainless steel strainer. It's a two-stage strainer, two different porosities, so the end product shouldn't be any wax in there. And then it's ready to go right in directly into the bottling and right onto your table to go along with your breakfast or lunch, whatever you're using the honey for. So that completes the whole cycle.